Inside Out 2. What I liked, what I didn't like, and what I was expecting. Yeah. So if you remember, one of Pixar's easier, not terribly flashing movies, if you ask me, Inside Out was when they made like five basic emotions really, really cute and easy to sell to explain how a little girl's mind works. Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I will say, I still find it quite delightful to see the emotions like play with like buttons on this giant console, and that is what causes like, reactions. And this little girl, that was funny. I can admit that is still very charming. But the entire story and plot was just annoying. And I don't like that it just reinstates this ability that, oh yeah, cartoons are made for kids. It has to be simple and not too like complicated. And that really burns my butterballs. Mm. So, despite all this dislike for Inside Out 1, I saw Inside Out 2 anyway. And did I like it? I liked a lot of parts of it. Yeah, yeah. But the plot's pretty much the same as the first one. Joy learns she has to share Riley, for good or bad. Mostly for the greater good in the long run. But yeah, it's healthy if Riley has self doubt and anxiety and all that sort of stuff. Now, I will admit, having anxiety is pretty painful. It's incredibly stressful. But yeah, I don't know, maybe because Pixar was trying to throw a softball that they made anxiety seem so well intentioned. That's nice. I think people would actually feel worse about their anxiety if they thought it was a villain in their head that they had to like defeat, like they had to be the good guy in themselves and defeat the anxiety. Whereas, spoiler alert, one of the best parts of this movie was to, let anxiety play out, let the panic attack play out, and just slowly breathe and come to terms and meet yourself at the end of it with all of it. No, anxiety varies and such like that, but I gotta tell you, a lot of times self soothing and a lot of good medication has helped me with that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Even though I hate when they hire celebrities, Maya Hawke did a lovely anxiety. It really did sound like her. It reminded me when she's Robin in Stranger Things, just that fast talking way of hers. Yeah, yeah. And it didn't really sound exactly like she was being Robin, just that she was kind of, just being herself, a motor mouth. And Anxiety's design, I gotta say, I do enjoy very, very much. Everything about it just screams, oh yeah, this person is burnt out. This person is just fried. Oi. Yeah, yeah. From the eyes that look like fear to just mouth. Oh god, even her little boots are like so tied, and the striped shirt. I want to say that the shirt is striped because she wants to see a pattern. She wants things to be straight and orderly and perfect, even though that never really happens in reality. Yeah, she's obsessive, not unlike Joy. Whereas Joy might be a little too much toxic positivity. I will say one of the funniest moments in this movie was when the other emotions, they're on their little adventure and they're, telling their leader Joy, Joy, this isn't working. You are delusional. And Joy just turns around and she's like, you think I'm delusional? Well, of course I'm delusional. I'm happiness. I have to carry this team. No, 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 no. Like, yeah, and you think about it, a lot of happiness does come from believing in the most ridiculous things and believing in a faith that doesn't make any sense but feels good. Wow, wow. Amy Poehler, yeah, yeah, you were meant to be Joy. You make sense. I will say that Mindy Kaling, as discussed, was deeply missed by me. Her animation was still good, but I didn't feel like the actress behind New Discuss was really bringing it? I mean, yeah, yeah. At first, I thought they didn't bring back Kaling because of the whole Velma scandal, but apparently Pixar just didn't want to pay her what she is owed and what she is due for the talent of her just being so beautifully sarcastic. And apparently, in the first one, she was like an additional writer to like the story and all that, which I found to be lovely. Bill Hader had the same thing. He was the original Fear, and he too wasn't being paid right, which is such a goddamn shame. But with all fairness, Tony Hale is a wonderful voice actor. In this, I really heard like Diablo, like from Housebroken, and a little bit of Dr. Psycho from the Harley Quinn show. And yet he was still fear. He still encompasses so well. The man has good delivery. So yeah, that was delightful. Let's see. Sadness is still sadness. Yeah, and this Joy is trying so much harder to be nicer to her, but you can just tell that it is still pretty painful for Joy to respect Sadness as a friend, as a coworker. She wants to, she sincerely does, but it just comes off so forced on her. And I think the movie tries to make that funny, but I just felt so much pity for Sadness. The other emotions, they're alright. Embarrassment's design is pretty darn funny, and that's the most I can say about him. Ennui, just the part where they never like are standing straight, I think is funny. Envy, I don't know. I didn't really. To me, she was just more like desire, and I guess that is envy too. But it was more like just greed more than envy. Again, I guess not really interchangeable words, but similar enough. With Envy's voice acting, I could not tell that was Ayo Idibri. I could not. She is a wonderful actress on screen. And yeah, she plays Missy in Big Mouth, and she does a pretty good job of that character being such a nerd. And this one, I feel like anyone could have like stepped into Envy's shoes, though, just being a squeaky, like, like yes man little person. So yeah, I don't think this is like really her. I didn't feel that for her the way I feel like Joy is for Amy Poehler or Kaling was for Discuss. Lewis Black is still playing a pretty good like anger. And this one, I feel like he got on fire less, but he still had a lot of good, like, aggressive lines towards everything else. I mean, the big difference in this movie, plot wise, is more that instead of Joy hanging out with Sadness, she hangs out with the other three, and that's fine. I'll admit that some of the puns are alright, but in a lot of ways, I found this one even more immature than the last one. I mean, kudos for, animating the brain, kind of like Osmosis Jones animated, like, the immune system. And that aspect, I found it very, very cute. I like that memories are represented in these little glass orbs. I do. But a lot of the jokes were not that funny. A lot of the setup, I do not think was that creative. I will admit, another spoiler, there's a scene where, like, they're trying to come up with, ideas and such, or projections, I guess you could say, and the little people in her head, these guys aren't named, but I guess they're just parts of the brain. Somebody probably knows the definition of them. They kind of look like animators, like kind of old school animators with a projected light, and they're drawing on it. And yeah, their ideas are being posted up, and I thought that was a cute little like high five to the animation team and what their jobs are. The fact that none of those little guys said we want equal pay and recognition for our work. It's a lost opportunity of me, but Pixar, you coward. Oh well. The other stuff, like the sarcasm, oi. Uh, brainstorm, oi. Mm, yeah, yeah. Yeah, a lot of parts of it are just oi. I can say that in a lot of ways, the sequel is kind of like, the writing team saying what we could do better. Could this movie have existed without the first one? Yes, easily. Yes, I think if the first one never existed, this would still be a treat. This would still be something, really, really cute, and maybe adults can have a little more like understanding and, a little existential, maybe some perspective on how they treat certain memories and thoughts, like wanting to forget things to try to stay positive. Not healthy, but you admit you do it. Yeah. I mean, I get why the first one they were trying to appeal as low an age group and demographic, so they made it basic with the five emotions. But yeah, seeing the other emotions and reactions people get, God, makes me wonder how long this can go on. With Disney like just milking every other hit that they make. Gosh, how crowded will Riley's little brain get? Another thing is, and I guess this is to make it easier on, the team behind, like in her head, Riley's kind of a basic person. Yeah. Yeah, like none of her reactions really make sense on the outside. I mean, they kind of do if you're just thinking she's, a shy teenager who's, nervous about everything. That makes sense. Yeah. I remember being a teenager and being nervous about people liking me or not. But other than that, yeah, Riley is just sort of a blank canvas that the emotions are painting with. And that's okay. That's okay because if she's so blank, I think it's easier for anyone to relate to, kind of like how they left her gender so ambiguous because, boys can't relate to girls. So it's easier if she's just kind of, you know, in between. I don't consider that trans, I just consider that a weird denial. Yeah. So, do I think this movie could be for anyone and everyone? Animation fans, I definitely think will appreciate this as you can appreciate any Pixar movie with their level of quality. You know, the details of it all are very, very pretty. I will admit the brain world is much prettier, of course, than the real life people world. The people world, like outside in Riley's life, kind of look like toys. Like everything looks kind of plastic. Guess that's not terrible, but I don't know, it just felt kind of meh to me. Yeah, like, oh my god, as if we don't know that Disney's all about selling toys of their characters. Yeah, so animation fans? Sure. For people who just like movies, no, it's pretty annoying. That's just my opinion, but I think, yeah, adults will be pretty annoyed with it. Yes, it'll give you 5 minutes of little retrospective, but that's about it. Do I think kids who are like overly zealous and over energetic will definitely get a lot of fun with this, like they do the stupid Minions? It's not Minions level, but it's trying to get there. I've come to the conclusion personally that I need to stop looking for Disney to be my animation, like, place of happiness. They're not my happy place anymore. They're just, the bigger one. The bigger one that has a long history, but not really a hopeful future in my life. And that's okay. Animation exists in other places. Yeah, yeah. So, those are my thoughts on Inside Out 2. Yeah. See it if you want. If you don't, well, there's a lot of good animated things you can watch besides that.